Okay, I wanted to respond to a blog post it's a blog, not somebody's YouTube thing, but I think this YouTube link is going to work for that. And one of the guys who's one of the survival experts, I don't know, from one of the desert states, I guess, was talking about how there's been a big change, and there has been. I mentioned it to him in his last article from 2 years ago. There's been a really big change in the survivalist movement. They've come out with this new thing, Doom Preppers and Doomsday Preppers. Apparently, the Armageddon Arsenals show didn't take off as much as we thought it was going to, but we still see a lot of the prepper thing and the survivalist thing. It's growing, and one of the things that's finally making sense with a lot of people is the retreat locations. John Wesley Rawls has been talking about it. I've been talking about it. A lot of people talking about it, and where a lot of the personalities and attitudes of 20 years ago made it nearly impossible. The personalities and attitudes of today, it's finally getting through to a lot of people that, hey, it's something you really got to do. And there really is not as much of a pool of experience on this among the libertarian, rugged individual survivalists who are highly publicized as there are in other types of groups of people. I've been to some of these places. I've been to some of these places since knowing some of the hippie commune people of the 1970s, and which of those hippie communes, most of which failed within 10 years, were still running in the 80s and 90s. Most of them failed within 10 years. A lot of them failed within 5 years. But a lot of them did keep going, and even among the ones which disbanded, a lot of people felt they were better off for that experience. And so in that sense, what we're seeing, just as the Flower Child Rebellion of the late 60s was a rebellion against conventional conservative America, what happened, and most of those people were in the Midwest. Most of those people are where the current stuff is happening. A lot of the current stuff is happening in the flyover states, Missouri. I don't know if I've even driven through Missouri. I've flown over it. I don't think I've been there, but I notice a lot of the new videos, a lot of the new stuff out there. These people are in Missouri. What we're going to see, though, is a lot of people are saying, hey, it makes sense for us to have communities. We are different people. We may not be able to save the entire country, but we can save our communities. We can find our own people, and we can save our own communities. And that's definitely been one of the strongest changes in the whole survivalist, prepper, self-sufficiency movement in the last 2 years. It's been huge. We've gone away from, in a lot of respects, we've gone away from the Bear Grylls type to the Doomsday Prepper type, where it's the groups, and people want to see more of these groups. The audiences want to see more of it. People want to become involved. And what does that usually require? That starts to bring in the social skills, the interaction, the values, and the commitment to make these things work, where it's no longer just imagination. It's like, okay, how are we going to make these things work? And we need to do it where we're making it work in groups. It's not just some crazy guy who's taking the fantasy and making it a reality. We're actually going to work on making these things function. And that's the biggest change of the last 2 years. And with that comes a whole lot of opinions. And when I see a lot of opinions, I see a lot of unqualified opinions when it comes to this sort of thing, although those unqualified opinions may become much better qualified opinions in a few years. We don't know. We don't know what experience they're based on. But I am going to go into a couple little videos here where I talk about some of the experiences that I've had from childhood to adulthood, especially to the time when I got off active duty Marine Corps. I established a retreat with some people. We had it going for about just about 5 years, and then things went bad, and we went our separate ways, and I learned a lot. And hopefully from what I've learned, I'm going to be able to give some better informed advice than what I've been reading some other people talk about speculatively out there.